what your favorite Eminem album says about you. And quickly before the video starts, be sure to join the Discord if you guys want. I'll leave it in the comments and in the description. If your favorite is Infinite, you probably love how raw and real this entire album feels. No other album really comes close in terms of this, except for maybe the Slim Shady LP, but even then, this one hits different. If your favorite is the Slim Shady LP though, you definitely are more of a Slim Shady guy or gal. There's no one else like Slim Shady. You love hearing Eminem talk about his struggles and say things that should be said. You love that he doesn't hold back, you love the goofiness, everything that Slim Shady brings to the table. If your favorite is Marshall Mathers LP though, you may be basic, but you think this is the best album for a reason. You think it's still his most impressive and his best work. From a storytelling perspective, to the flows, to the bars, this is just a classic and it's perfect to you. Understandably so. If your favorite is The Eminem Show, you are correct for having this as your favorite. This one is just me speaking for myself and you probably agree. Another basic answer, but it's true. This album has it all. Eminem's impressive rapping skills, his goofy and absurd side, to even Marshall's singing on Haley's song and stuff like this album is genuinely peak. It's the definition of perfection, and nobody can convince me otherwise. No album has actually come close to this. If your favorite's Encore, you are definitely judged for having this as your favorite. People question your taste, but you don't care. Encore obviously deserves more love and appreciation. You love Eminem's goofier and funny side. Despite all the leaks quote-unquote ruining this album, you still think it's an amazing album. If your favorite is Relapse, you are 1,000,000% a Relapse cult follower. You wonder what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say the truth. You're a psycho. I'm kidding, obviously. Really not. You obviously love the horrorcore genre. You think this album is perfect, and you believe any hate towards this is just wrong. You're probably delusional and still waiting for Relapse too. I know you people exist. If your favorite's Recovery, some people would probably call you basic, even though it's not as common as having The Eminem Show or Marshall Mathers LP as your favorite. But yeah, you love all the mainstream radio songs on this. You think this album has a lot of underappreciated bangers, which it does. And you're definitely a hardcore defender of this album. If your favorite is the Marshall Mathers LP 2, you obviously think this is the better sequel, as you should. This album has it all, just like The Eminem Show. You think this album deserves more love, it's often overlooked and even overhated by some, whether it's because of the predecessor or because it dropped after Recovery and before Revival. You might think this is Eminem's last great album. It's not, in my opinion, but a lot of people do. If your favorite's Revival, it's one of two things. One, you're trying to be different, or two, you really do appreciate this overlooked album. Underrated songs, features, and just an album as a whole. You hate how much hate this album got. You appreciate that Eminem was trying something different, and you believe he excels at it. I agree. If your favorite's Kamikaze, you must be one of those you had to be there people for this album. This album was really different. You love how Eminem just doesn't care about anyone or anything, it just goes after everyone. It's likely you weren't a fan of Revival, so this just made you love the album even more. If your favorite is Music to Be Murdered By, you love the light horror to this album, you think the album deserves its flowers, you strongly believe this is his most impressive album on a technical level. You think this is leagues ahead of most of his other albums, which I think it is as well. Lastly, if your favorite is The Death of Slim Shady, you're likely a newer fan, which is okay. You know, I myself am somewhat of a newer fan. All stands are welcome though. You obviously love the dynamic that Eminem creates between Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers. This album has it all. It goes back and forth between them two. It's incredible. This album made you laugh, it made you cry, it made you go crazy with the bars. You believe it was album of the year. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.